Greetings of the day. I am Asha K, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology.
Good morning to one and all. We were discussing about the functional architecture of TMS 32054X processor. We were discussing about this and each block. What is central processing unit and what is barrel shifter unit and what is multiply and accumulation unit. So this is multiply and accumulation unit. Together, this is computing. We call it as central processing unit, and we have a small unit which is called as compare select store unit CSSU. And we were also discussing about the bus architecture. We have one program bus and three data bus pairs. In three data bus pairs, two data bus pairs are used for read operation and one is used for write operation. CACB, DAB, DB are used for read operations. EAB, EB are used for write operation. And we were discussing about the registers, status register 0, status register 1, and PMSD, processor mode status register. So these three status register I was discussing yesterday. The first one, we have a status register 0, auxiliary register pointer is there. It is used in addressing modes. We have test bar control bit, TC bit. It is also one of the bit which appears in uh, compare select store unit along with the timers. And we have carry bit whenever we perform the arithmetic logical related operations in the TMS 320C54XX like processor. Automatically this carry bit will set or reset based upon the operation. And we have overflow flag for accumulator A and overflow flag for accumulator B. When we perform any operation such as multiply and accumulation, when there is a overflow from that particular operation that we are storing in the accumulator register, whenever it is there, if it is there will be a maximum positive number and a maximum or most negative number. So if beyond that number, if any number appears, then overflow flag bits will be automatically set. And we have a data memory page pointer. So this data memory page pointer is also used with addressing mode. So we have the next one called as the status register 1. Again, it's a 16-bit register. In this 16-bit register, first we have block repeat active flag. The block repeat is deactivated or block repeat is activated. Block repeat is also one of the very important thing in data address generation logical unit. So in data address generation unit, logical unit, we have this special thing. So based upon the block repeat activation and deactivation, this particular flag bit is going to set or reset. And we have CPL bit, that is compiler mode bit. So this compiler mode bit, it is used in direct addressing mode using this is very important, whether I'm using stack pointer for my calculation or whether I'm using data page pointer for calculation, whether I'm using DP or whether I'm using FSP. So based upon this, compiler mode is going to work. And next we have is an external flag. An external flag is a general purpose output pin for multiprocessor configuration. So this can be set and reset by using the instruction SSBX and RSBX. And we have an hold mode. It determines whether the processor or central processing unit continues internal execution or acknowledge the external interface. If we have any external interface, whether it is trying to acknowledge that. So based upon that, we have this hold mode of the DSP processor. Coming to the next bit, that is interrupt mode bit. So in this interrupt mode bit, it globally masks or enables all the interrupts. And after that, we have the next bit called as 0 bit. It is always read as 0 only. And we have the next, that is ninth bit, which is available in the ST1 register, that is overflow mode bit. The destination accumulator is set either the most positive value or the least negative value or the most negative value. So overflow mode is equal to 1. If it is equal to 1 means automatically the destination accumulator, whether it may be an A accumulator or whether it may be an B accumulator that is specified in the instruction, that will be like overflow has been occurred. So that is identified by when it is equal to 1, when OVM is equal to 1, so we'll be having this particular bit is equal to 1. If it is equal to 0 means we have loaded the accumulator, destination accumulator with the most positive number or the most negative number. And we have another important bit which is used along with the multiplier is sign extension mode bit. When sign extension mode bit is equal to 0 means sign extension is suppressed. Say I'm not doing any sign extension. Just if we want any adjustment, so we are adjusting the data with padding zeros. That's all. If sign extension mode is equal to 1 means the data is sign extended. Whatever is the sign bit, that sign bit will be extended. So if SXM is equal to 1. So this is also one of the very important bit which is available in the ST1 register. Coming to C16, dual 16-bit or double precision arithmetic mode is used. So if ALU operates in double precision arithmetic mode or ALU operates in dual 16 arithmetic mode, based upon this bit is equal to 0 or this bit is equal to 1. So after this, we have a fractional bit which is used with multiplier. So multiplier and accumulation unit is there, right? Along with that, we are using this. The multiplier output is left shifted by 1 bit to compensate an extra sign bit. When we perform the multiplication, what happens? 2 sign bits we are going to get. So multiplier that we are using here is a 17 cross 17 bit multiplier. So in this 17 cross 17 bit multiplier, when it appears 2 sign bit, so the 1 sign bit can be compensated by using shifting that data by 1 bit, left shift operation by 1 bit. So that is the fractional bit, FRCT bit. So that will be indicated in ST1 register, that is 6th bit of ST1 register. And we have compatibility mode. The compatibility mode is equal to 0. The auxiliary register pointer is not updated in the indirect addressing mode. So we're not updating anything in the indirect addressing mode. So that ARP will be as it is. Whatever the previous value was there, that previous value will be loaded. And we have auxiliary register pointer is 1 means that compatibility mode is equal to 1 means the ARP is updated in the indirect addressing mode. The updation of ARP is done or not, that will be decided by the compatibility mode. If CMPT bit, see when I explained the indirect addressing mode in the afternoon class, so I'll take up again. So what is the CMPT bit? If CMPT bit is equal to 0, what is going to happen? Or if CMPT bit is equal to 1, what is going to happen? And after the CMPT bit, we have a last one called as accumulator shift mode. That is how the data has to be shifted in case of barrel shifter. So this ASM will appear in case of barrel shifter. So for the barrel shifters, we will be having 3 types of shifting. That is minus 16 through 31 and 0 to 15 and minus 16 through 15. So in these 3 operations, this accumulator shift mode will decide it's a 5-bit field. It decides the shifting operations, shift value. That shift value when this bit is performing, when bit is like it is, we are utilizing this. So shift value within the range minus 16 through 15 will be done with the help of this. Okay. And afterwards, we'll be having processor mode status register. One of the very important question from the exam point of view. They may ask you for 7 to 8 marks question. Explain the processor mode status register PMST. So this processor mode status register, what we have an interrupt vector pointer. This interrupt vector pointer, it's a 9-bit field. So if you just observe here, so 7 to 15, 7 to 15 we have, it's a 9-bit field. It field points to 128 program page. So here I was telling you people in the beginning, the storage, the data storage will be in the form of page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, etc. So we have here 128 word program page where the interrupt vector resides. And this IPTR, the interrupt vectors can be remapped to random access memory for boot loaded operations. A specific address is used here, FF80H, in the program memory space. And see this instruction, the reset instruction does not affect this particular field. So this IPTR field will not be modified with the help of this reset instruction of the TMS 32054XX processor. And after this, all at reset, say all these bits will be set to 0. The reset vector always resides at the address itself. So whatever the memory address that they have given 128 word program page memory, so that interrupt vector will reside there. So even though when we are performing that reset operation, software reset and hardware reset, two types of resets will be there. So based upon that, this particular IPTR bit, that is interrupt vector pointer bit, is going to like alter. And we have the next one, sixth bit field, which is called as the microprocessor or microcomputer mode. And this is overlay, address visibility mode, and we have DROM, we have clock off, saturation on multiplication, saturation on store. So the next one we have is MP bar MC, that is microprocessor or microcomputer mode. It enables or disables the on-chip read-only memory. So whether I just want to making use of this on-chip ROM, or I don't want to make use of the on-chip ROM, that will be decided by this MP bar MC bar bit to be addressable in the program memory. So and afterwards, this if this is equal to 1 means the on-chip ROM is enabled and addressable. If this bit is equal to 1 means the on-chip ROM is not available. So in our programming part, we cannot use that particular on-chip ROM if that particular bit is equal to 1. And if this is equal to 0, we can make use of that. Might be in your 8086, while in your laboratory classes, you might be knowing while interfacing, you have to decide what is that particular timer bit, how you have to set which bit has to be 1, and all those things. Based upon that, we're going to give an hexadecimal code for it. So we'll give that particular code in the program. So based upon that, that will be executed. And especially this particular bit will be set or reset by the software. And the next is we have a 1-bit field which is called as RAM overlay, random access memory overlay. So we have data RAM blocks, that is RAM blocks. It enables the on-chip dual access data RAM blocks to be mapped into the program space. So that enabling will be done with the help of this OVL by bit. If OVL by bit is equal to 1 means the on-chip RAM is addressable. I can address in my program in data space, but not in the program space. So in this case, what happens if OVLY is equal to 1 means on-chip RAM is mapped into program space and data space. So if it is 1, both program space and data space we are going to map. So if it is 0 means only data space we can address, but not in the program space. So that is about the random access memory overlay bit, which is present in the processor mode status register. So we have the next one called as address visibility mode. It enables the internal program address to be visible at the address pin. So we have address pins and data pins. So whenever this bit is equal to 0, if we just see here, the external lines do not change with the internal program address. And also control and data lines are not affected, and the address bus is driven with the last address on the bus, whatever the last address was there. So based upon that, we are going to like the processor is going to driven that particular bit. And if AVIS is equal to 1, address visibility mode is equal to 1 means it allows the internal program address can be traced. I can trace the internal program address where my program is residing, so how it is performing the operations, and all can be done with the help of this particular bit. Also, it allows the interrupt vector to be decoded in conjunction with interrupt acknowledgement when the interrupt vector resides on the on-chip memory. So this is the address visibility mode, which is available along with the PMST register, processor mode status register, mainly used to enable internal program address to be visible at the address pin. So this is the address visibility mode. And afterwards we have DROM. It enables on-chip. In the on-chip we have dynamic access, random access memory. One particular this one is there. Memory is there. So this enabling this or mapping this to data space or not mapping this to data space will be taken care by DROM bit. It is also a 1-bit in the PMST register. In PMST register, it's a 1-bit field. This 1-bit field decides whether we are mapping this to a data space or we are not mapping this on-chip DRAM to the data space or not. Mapping or not mapping will be taken care by this DROM bit. And after the DROM bit, we have clock out. So this clock out, this is O, clock out of, this clock off is equal to 1 means the output of the clock out is disabled and remains at high level. The clock out is disabled. So if this is equal to 1 means the output of the clock out is disabled and remains at the logical high level. So we're not performing any. So as you all know, clock is basically on and off. T on and T off will be there. So based upon this T on and T off, immediately your processor will start working and execution will be taken place. So if particularly if this bit is equal to 1 means the output of the clock out is disabled and it remains in the logic high level. And we have one more bit that depends on the multiplication operation, that is multiplier, performance of the multiplier, that is SMUL, saturation on multiplication. Saturation of a multiplication result occurs before performing the accumulation in case of MAC, multiply and accumulation unit, and in case of the instructions what we are using is multiplication with subtraction or multiplication with addition operations. And SMUL bit applies only when OVM bit, this OVM bit and fract bit should be equal to 1. If both are equal to 1, then only this SMUL bit is going to apply it, and that performs the saturation on the multiplication. The next one we have is saturation on store, SST. The saturation of the data from the accumulator is enabled, storing in the memory. The saturation is performed after the shift operation. So when we store the data, so that whenever we want to perform saturation of the data from the accumulator is enabled when we are going to store the data into the memory space. That memory space may be specified in that particular program. We transfer the data to the memory space using the EAB and EB register pairs, data bus pairs. EAB and EB are the data bus pairs. Those are used for transferring the data onto the memory. So this completes the processor mode status register. And yesterday we also started with learning the central processing unit. These are the key points you all should remember. A 40-bit arithmetic logical unit, a 40-bit accumulator we have, a barrel shifter we are using here, and a multiplier is of size 17 cross 17, and an adder is of size 40-bit, and we have a compare, select, and store unit. And also we have an exponent encoder to adjust the exponent values in case of floating point arithmetic operations. And also we have a data address generation unit and a program address generation unit.